So, are you willing to have a radical Thanksgiving this year? Why not? Right. Are you willing to take Thanksgiving beyond Thursday?
Yes.
Beyond Thursday, right. By practicing radical Thanksgiving every day. I'm not convinced. Anybody here convinced? So are you willing to take Thanksgiving beyond the holiday by practicing radical Thanksgiving every day of the year? Yay! Great. All right. So the human condition is we give thanks for what we're happy about, right? You know, it's really easy. It's sort of like Jesus said, it's easy to love your friends. You know, big deal. You love your, some people don't see that in the Bible, but it's there. You know, it's like really easy to love your friends, right? And it's really easy to give thanks for something that we're really happy about. So radical Thanksgiving is more than that. It's going beyond giving thanks for what we're grateful for. It was one of the things I read, it said that radical Thanksgiving is giving unconditional thanks for everything, no matter what. I add that. No matter what, giving thanks for everything. The sad, the glad, the messy, the neat, the challenging, the unchallenging, the blessings, the challenges and the blessings, I guess it is, and what we understand. It's easy to give thanks for what we understand, but it's also about giving thanks for what we don't understand. And the stuff we like and the stuff we don't like. That's what radical Thanksgiving is. And it happens when we can feel gratitude for those things that have helped us grow, right? Those, what are they called? AFGOs, another frustrating growth opportunity. I think that's what the F stands for, another frustrating growth opportunity. And, you know, we always say that, you know, to be grateful for the blessings in disguise, right? And I don't know about you, but I'm ready for a blessing that's not in disguise. And I always like to remind us of that. So if we can find in our hearts to be grateful, even when we can't see anything to be grateful for, just by knowing and having faith that somehow all is well, and that somehow there may even be a blessing in here for us, then Dr. Lisa Rankin says, you will free yourself from suffering. And that's good enough for me. Okay? If there were no other benefits to radical Thanksgiving, the fact that it would relieve suffering, my mental suffering. You know, in Unity, we don't believe in hell in terms of being a geographical location, but we know it as a state of consciousness. And so radical Thanksgiving can help us to be in heaven, right? The other state of consciousness, by really being relieved of suffering. So in Unity, our salvation is not from some hell after this life, but salvation is about from this world, right? From all the stuff we go through every day when we turn on the TV, or we have a situation with a neighbor, or whatever it may be. We are saved when we practice radical Thanksgiving from the toils and turmoils of the world. So I invite you to affirm. I'll say it once and then ask you to affirm it with me. I practice radical Thanksgiving. I give thanks for everything, no matter what. Together, I practice radical Thanksgiving. I give thanks for everything, no matter what. And one more time. I practice radical Thanksgiving. I give thanks for everything, no matter what. And so I want to invite you during the message, as ideas come to your mind, as memories come to your mind, of a time where you experienced radical Thanksgiving. I want you to just bear that in mind, and I was going to leave some time at the end of my message for us to share them. and I hardly have time to do my message, so I'm going to invite you to share those stories at the end of the service when we form our circle and when we meet and greet each other at the end of the service. So hopefully you can have one example of radical thanksgiving in your life. There are so many examples that I came up with in my planning for this message. And one of them you may have heard is about an African tribe that was right next door to another African tribe. And this missionary found that one of the tribes was absolutely poverty-stricken. And yet it was surrounded not just by one other tribe, but it was totally surrounded by prospering tribes. And what the missionary was very curious about this, and what he or she discovered was that in the language of this impoverished tribe, there was no word for gratitude. No word for gratitude. And so he surmised that that we grow rich. We grow rich by thanksgiving, and we become impoverished if we do not have a sense of gratitude. I discovered this woman named Lisa Rankin. She's a medical doctor and an author, and she gave several examples of Thanksgiving, radical Thanksgiving. She called it radical gratitude, but same difference. She said she was grateful, and I was writing down just my brief notes so that I would remember, and I wrote down divorced. She was grateful for divorce, and I thought, well, that's easy. Having experienced two of them in my life. But then I realized she said divorce mediation. She was grateful for divorce. She said, my divorce was a beautiful reminder to eliminate the word my from my vocabulary. This process triggered an attack of my small self, which vied for possession and was reaching out of fear, reacting out of fear until someone reminded me that none of the blessings in my life were mine. It wasn't my house, or my books, or my business, or my daughter. I had to release everything my ego thought it owned, so I could get into the mindset of God's books, God's business, God's little girl. Then, with my soul at the wheel in divorce mediation, we quickly came to a fair and equitable settlement peacefully. She said, I passed the final exam of surrender by my willingness to turn my divorce over to the divine, my truest self, in whatever form that might show up. She said, it wasn't easy, but I am grateful. Then she talked about conflict that she's having with a friend. And she said she was really scared. I guess she's in the midst of it. She wrote it. She said, I'm scared of losing my friend. So it's triggering another small self-attack. But we're learning so much about ourselves and each other. The conflict is illuminating the blind spots for both of us. So our souls are growing, even as our small selves defend and position who is right. So I'm grateful. I give thanks for the soul growth. I give thanks for my best friend, whom I adore and trust will grow with me with a new deepening of our soul friendship. So this is a couple examples she gave. And I thought in my life, many times as a counselor, someone will come to me and say, I wasted 25 years on that person. And it's like, no, I don't believe that. I believe that, I went through a number of things in my life. I went through emotional neglect as a child. I went through childhood sexual abuse. I went through having both parents who were alcoholics, my brother who died of alcoholism at age 54. I went through 2 marriages and 2 divorces, and I discovered my own alcoholism, 21 years ago. And I am grateful for all of it, because all of that is part of who I am today. I wouldn't be who I am today if any one of those things had not happened to me. Would I wish them on anyone else? Absolutely not. But we know that stuff happens. Stuff happens in our lives. And so how can we take that stuff and sort of like, the old thing of if you get lemons, make lemonade. It seems trite, but I really believe with Jacob at Jabbok Fork, nobody gets this, but I always say it's the first email address. Jacob at Jabbok Fork. Anyway. Someday the whole room's going to laugh. I'm so happy. But anyway, Jacob was wrestling with an angel. And at daybreak, the angel said, "Let go of me, the dawn is breaking." And Jacob said, "I will not let go of you until you bless me." And that's what radical thanksgiving is to not let go of anything until it blesses you. Find the blessing. If there isn't one in there, make one up. Do whatever it takes to feel gratitude, to feel thanksgiving. If nothing else, the fact that you're alive, that this couldn't have happened to me if I were dead, So give thanks for life, whatever it takes, right? So, and one of the scriptures that I like, I'm not a Bible thumper, but there's a couple that I really like, and one of them is the 2nd verse of James, and in it he says, "Count it all joy." And I think there's even a song that the choir sometimes sings about count it all joy. And I just love that. How can I count it all joy? And the other ones is in 1 Thessalonians, where it says, "In everything, give thanks." And then to go beyond the Christian scriptures to Zen Buddhism, or my favorite story about the Zen master Sono. How many of you remember what it was she said? That was...
Thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever.
Yes, I knew Molly would know that. Thank you for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever. And she said that was the one very simple method to enlightenment. Wow. Pretty cool for all of those who want to be enlightened. So, thank you for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever. And when people who came here, they got really sick of it. Every time, something came up, thank you God. So they finally took their complaint to her and said, "Look, this is enough already. We're tired of this." And she listened to them out, and she said, "Thank you for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever." So we look at some of the, how do we put this in action? And we know that the first way is always prayer and meditation. That's the first how-to every Sunday at Unity on Buffet. And we do that. So when we go into prayer and meditation, we can ask, where's the blessing in this? I can't see it, because you know what? Your divine self can. When our human self can't see it, our divine self can find the blessing. And we can give prayers of thanksgiving throughout the day, not just the time we're sitting on our cushion, but throughout the day we can give thanks and take one more step toward enlightenment. We can give thanks for everything we like. See, some people don't even do that. So that's a minimum. That's 101, Thanksgiving 101, to give thanks for what you're happy about, what you're glad about. But take the 400 level classes and give thanks for everything, no matter what. So, the question I leave you with today is, can you be thankful for it all? Can you be thankful for it all? Can you give thanks radical thanks. Can you pass the final exam for radical thanksgiving? So you can, where you go to that place where you can give thanks for all of it, where you can see adversity as an opportunity for soul growth, where you can see adversity as a curriculum for the soul, and free yourself of the wailing and gnashing of teeth and moaning and groaning and victimhood and all that stuff that you may sometimes experience. And that doesn't mean, of course I always have to say this, it doesn't mean to take a spiritual bypass. It doesn't mean to pretend things aren't happening when they're challenging. Absolutely, it's got to be. This is practical spirituality. And we've got to acknowledge what's going on. We've got to acknowledge those negative, challenging feelings we may be having. But we do not have to give them power to make our lives miserable. So we acknowledge the condition. We deny it power over us. We give thanks in advance to be able to find the blessing, right? And then we let go and let God. And so I celebrate that radical thanksgiving is happening for each and every one of us to a greater extent than ever before. And let's put feet on that by coming together in a sacred time of shared prayer. And I want to share with you a meditation I adapted from my colleague, Rev Brendalyn Batchelor. If you've ever listened to Unity Online Radio, she has a wonderful show called Touching the Stillness. So I invite us to just be fully present. To prepare ourselves for a time of collective thanksgiving, even radical thanksgiving. I invite us to do that by first becoming aware of what we are experiencing with our five senses. You know, what are we seeing even with our eyes closed? What are we hearing? Tasting? Smelling? What are we feeling? And so we just bring ourselves into an awareness of whatever body sensations are going on right now, and they are going on. They're always going on. And whether they be pleasant or unpleasant, each sensation is something to be grateful for. It's the very evidence of life, of all that is living us, breathing us, supporting, nourishing, and inspiring us. And so instead of basing this meditation on Paulette's, it just is revealed to me to do something different. And so I invite you to hear the words of I call it my love prayer, but it's really thanksgiving that I do every day after I bathe. And I honor my body. So I invite you to hear these words as if spoken by you through my voice. I love my body. I love every cell and atom, every bone, every tissue, every organ, every system, every function, every particle, every space, and every wave. I love you. I bless you. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. for supporting me in this physical expression. Feel that love as your way of saying Thanksgiving. Allow that love to permeate your entire body, mind, and soul. Experience Thanksgiving expressed as love for your magnificent body temple, for your life, for your opportunities, for your blessings and those that are blessings in disguise. Feel love as your thanksgiving in the silence. And as we gently bring our attention back to this time and place, I invite you to hear and silently say the remaining words of my daily prayer. And hear my words as your words. I am beautiful, magnificent, healthy, whole and well, vital, fit and trim, balanced, in order, in harmony, with everything and everyone in all creation. And for the wisdom to experience and express radical thanksgiving for everything, including this cough. I say thank you, that it is so, and so it is. Amen. Spirit has a wicked sense of humor.